everybody. Welcome again. Episode 2, the Kenise and Marc show, all about relationships.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's do it.
So we hope you guys checked out our very first episode that aired last week, and we spoke about why didn't my marriage work. We also gave a little intro about ourselves and who we are and why we decided to do this show. So we're going to give you guys a little bit more insight. Marc and I have been working together since we met each other in 2011, towards the ending of 2011.
Yes.
And my project started with Marc. I came into his studio to do my first album, praise and worship album, and a music lab here in Brooklyn, New York. So I came, met with Marc, and I have known you since, I guess it would be like November or December? November
Yes.
of 2011.
Yes.
How has it been, this journey?
Oh, just wonderful. I just never a dull moment. Trust me.
Marc has become my big brother. He's also become, in some regards, kind of my therapist. I've gone to him about a number of things, one including because we're both pastors' kids.
Yes.
And we come from a lineage of being involved in a family that's very functional in the church. And he recently became the pastor of his local church, so we're really excited.
Yes.
And he thinks I'm gonna become the pastor, but no.
She is. Watch.
No, don't watch that. So episode 2. Today we're gonna talk about he or she isn't ready for marriage, which is kind of a very sore topic for me because I know a lot of people that have gone through this. So what do we mean by he or she isn't ready for marriage? So let's set the stage.
Well, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but I think it's more of a problem with men than it is with women. And the only thing that makes sense is if a man is not ready for marriage is because there's a few reasons. He doesn't want to deal with the scars that he dealt with from the first relationship or marriage. Or there's somebody else that
He's
he
a
has.
player.
Yeah. I mean, and that's basically what it narrows down to, because
So
it doesn't make any sense.
So you're saying as a guy, the reason why a guy, so you're dating somebody, say let's pick a random number, 5 years. So you're dating somebody for 5 years as a guy. You're saying that most guys out there, and you're speaking on behalf of a lot of guys out there, would not want to enter into marriage. And I'm talking about somebody that's older, more mature. You're out of school, you're done. You're done with all that stuff. You have a job, you guys are pretty much settled, kind of financially. You're ready. You're at that stage in your life, late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, late 30s, kind of in that area. So you're saying a guy wouldn't want to enter into marriage after dating somebody for 5 years because, one, he's reluctant of a past relationship, experience.
Everyone's situation is different. It could be someone that might be a loved one that's sick. That takes a lot of the man's time. Sometimes some guys go through midlife crisis where their jobs change or their careers change, and just trying to set up shop all over again. And you want to, any real man wants to establish himself, have a great job, great income, a secure home. So if you're going to go into marriage again, you don't want to be struggling, and so a lot of things. So it's different situations, but right. I think what kind of really gets people's goats, especially the women, is that for the most part, a lot of guys just abuse their relationships, and just for no reason. They don't even know why they don't want to commit. And I forgot, some guys, they just fear marriage. I don't know what's up with that, but
so let's take it from the point, because we had a viewer who contacted us and told us about a 5-year relationship that they were in, and they were both divorcees. They both had children, and they were dating for 5 years. During the course of dating in 5 years, the guy didn't really want to get married. He kept saying that he would need maybe 5 to 7 years, which is like crazy. It's unheard of. Both of these individuals are in their 30s. They're pretty much set. Just a past divorce is what they went through. So Marc, what would you tell this particular girl who has been dating this guy and wants to know when is he going to take it to the next level. And she's had conversations with him.
That's a good question. If you've had conversations with that individual, I mean, if you really love that person, you just give it one more shot. You just sit down and say, look, where are we going? And sometimes, it may hurt, but to save your sanity and to save your integrity and everything else, you might just have to just cut your losses. Because, I mean, we talked about
5 years and just cut your losses?
Well, I mean, what are you going to do? You can't, unless you go in there with a gun and point it at his head and say, look, marry me now. The person has to want to do that. We talked about that at our first episode. You have to want to be friends and, get that camaraderie, that tightness and closeness going. I mean, I think if you're really true friends, you should be able to work that out. You sit down at the table and decide, okay, what are we doing with our lives? What are we doing with the future? It's a very sore topic. I mean, I really can't. It's a hard question to answer because I don't know why some people do that. Just stretch it out and procrastinate. If you have the opportunity to love on somebody and to partner with them, no matter what the past is like, you should be able to do it with no problems. And just to, at a certain age, you're just too old to be out there just,
macking.
Yeah, come on, just make a decision, man up, woman up, let's just do it.
So we want you guys to comment as we're talking about this. We want to hear what you guys and girls think out there, what this girl should do. I mean, so she's at this place now and she's asking for advice. She really wants to know. She loves him. And I do agree that he loves her. But it's been 5 years already. And she sat down with him. I mean, what are some of the questions you think she should ask him during like the last conversation? It's just like plain out, do you want to be with me?
Well, I would look into what the whole conversation has been about. I mean, I don't know who these people are, but I would ask, the poignant questions. Are you, is there someone else you're interested in? And see what he says. And then after that, is there anything else standing in the way, or is there a family member who's okay? Are they ill, or it's just different situations. Are you in the career change?
But you don't think he should have been forthcoming, Mark? And I mean, just to give, they've known each other for 5 years. This is not like a 2-month relationship. This is a relationship where they've been together for 5 years. To be honest, I don't think it was a very honest, upfront kind of relationship. Even though he did tell her in the beginning of the relationship, he's not ready for marriage. So he did say that. So that's a plus for him. So I think that's very important. If you are in a relationship and you're not going to be able to go into marriage and you don't want to go into marriage, I think that's something that needs to be discussed first and foremost. You don't want to drag somebody along. If your intentions is just to go out and have a good time, you guys want to go bowling, you want to go to the movies, you just want to chill, you want to listen, make it very clear.
I agree.
And I think both females and males, you guys need to make it very clear. You would eliminate this world of heartbreak if you make it very clear and say, listen, I just want to hang with you, but I don't know where this is going to go, and I'm not interested in marriage.
The onus is definitely on the man. Why? Because
I think that too.
If it goes any further, he's the one that has to propose to the woman. So since she can't control that, then he needs to be the one to really kind of steer the relationship. And if it's going to go to marriage, and if he thinks it's going to go to marriage, he should say something. If he doesn't think it's going to go towards marriage, he should say something as well. But of course, you have some women who do the same thing.
We do.
So,
but I think we're less of the person.
Yeah,
the females are not as much the ones who are doing this kind of shenanigans.
Right.
So I think one, like we said, I think it's very important. Make it very clear in the beginning of your relationship. Secondly, ask the hard questions. And I think sometimes the girls, we're scared because we're scared of the answers. So we don't want to ask those questions. We don't want to say, listen, like, man up, do you not want to be with me? Or is he just using you? Because sometimes I find that girls, we tend to be the one, we're like going over to their homes or whatever. We're cleaning up for them. we're cooking for them, we're doing all of these things for the guy, and it's pretty much like, you know what, we're giving them all the milk and they don't want to buy the cow. Right? You're laughing.
Okay.
You know, it's like, you know, and, you know, I'm not a proponent, you know, during a relationship, if you're not married, I don't believe in sex outside of marriage. But so if you're giving everything, if you want to believe that, and if you're giving everything in this relationship, why for a guy? He's not going to want to buy the cow because he's getting all the milk for free. So I feel something has to be left out said, and something has to be left for him to want. But I think a good guy who respects a woman and loves her and feels like, I feel in this day and age, it's very hard to find a great companion, a great person that's going to be loving, caring, taking care of his family, both sides, taking care of things, being responsible. And I think when you find that person, you want to hold on to that person and not use them. I
agree. I can't say too much more behind that. It is very hard because you're dealing with so much now, you know. Folks on the DL. That's
what do you mean?
Low.
I know what DL means, but what do you mean? Like, oh, you mean like they're like having other people on the DL?
Yeah.
Oh God, yes. And
that's
and that's the other topic that we're going to talk about. Is people talking about their phones. Like, you know, we're going to hit on, because I've seen that question. You know, my partner, you know, my boyfriend, my girlfriend don't allow me to look at their phones, which is a big deal. And we're going to talk about that, but it's a whole different show. So yeah, we do stuff on the DL. And I think those are very important things, Mark, that, you know, when I came out of my divorce and people asked me, what's the thing that you learned the most? And I said, I learned one key thing. Don't ignore the red flags.
Women are good for ignoring and thinking that they can change men.
Yes,
you can see a red flag and say, "Oh,
and
he's never met me before," and then
right, I can change him.
Yeah, you can't change anybody. You can't change their religion, and forget about if if a man is interested in another man, they're bisexual. That's a whole nother situation.
You mean there are women out there who feel they can change a man who's bi?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe you got a question now.
It's just, it's just so much out there to contend with. So,
look at the red flags.
Look at the red flags. Sometimes you could say, let's just be honest, and for whatever reason, honesty is not being considered.
I agree. So you look at the person's actions. Actions speak louder than words.
True.
And I think the final thing, the advice that we want to tell this young lady is have one last conversation with this guy, and make a decision. And it needs to be a hard decision. I remove people from my phone. I'm a deleter. So I would remove everything from the person, make it very clear. You can't keep going back. Because right. I think if she does this, or if she decides to do this, the person may contact her. I think you need to cut out the person totally. Because I believe if a guy really wants you, and you guys can comment about this though, if a guy really wants you, he will come after you. And girls, I guess I don't want the guys to be all upset with me and say, you know what, if a girl really wants me, she'll come after me. But I believe
if a girl really wants you, she'll be there.
But you don't believe that you've said over and over, Mark, that to me, that a guy should be the one pursuing.
Yeah, I agree. The Bible says that he that findeth a wife. So if the man is findeth, he's looking. Mm-hmm. So he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing.
I know somebody who said the Bible says a good thing, not a great thing.
That's right. God knew what he was saying. If y'all think you're all of that, it's like, no, you're a good thing. Not great.
Anyway, we're gonna leave that comment separately, so you guys comment. So yes. So leave the ties, break the ties, walk out, and that goes, guys, for you guys out there, because we don't want to just say mostly just guys that do this. But I'm sure there's girls out there that can't make a decision, because I believe there's some great guys out there.
Yes.
And they get hooked up with some girls who want to be with other guys or maybe other girls on the DL. So it's important that you guys cut them off. And if she wants you, she will come after you. And same with the guy. If he wants you, he will come after you and pursue you. So we want to hear your questions. We want to hear your comments. And if you haven't checked out episode 1, you need to check out our first episode. We also want you to like us on Facebook, our page, and follow us on Instagram. You can check out Marc's personal music page at
The Music Lab Inc.
At www.musiclabinc.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I did not know. My website is www.keniseetwaru.com.
And you did say the Facebook page. The Facebook page is the Music Lab Inc. My website is www.markreddick.com.
Okay, we're all confused, so we're going to put this up at the end of the show.
We're not confused. She's confused. And,
anyway, we're going to leave that separately.
We're always joking around. It's all right.
Yeah, so we are so excited that you guys are joining us. Share the video. Please share the video. Please check out our YouTube channel also and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We want to hear about you guys. We want to hear what topics you guys want to hear about. We have some very saucy topics coming up in our future shows, so we're really looking forward to you guys joining us. So thanks again.
So folks, remember,
it's all about relationships.